Bonjour à tous. L'homme est né pour la citoyenneté. The man was born for citizenship. What is Aristotle cited as a virtue? Is it substance? If yes or no, how epistemology of pure science gives evidence to prove that this concept as a virtue or fundamental value has a nature and to essence matter by atoms and molecules. How extend in Anaxagoras university matter and infinite division in fact and reality for epistemology of thought in way of ontology. First of all, man during 25 centuries from Eleatic epoch expanded like our black hole in Milky Galaxy. Females is not householding anymore, and in most democratic countries, even in philosophy and juries, women make a virtue and criteria of them. Obviously, in science and education are more pervaded. So this is a matter which attributed which attribute Spinoza or reflection of Kant to body as an apparent sensory born or birth as a noun will be explained in point of view of empedocles on a compound substance which are not real as a birth and death coming to be and perishing. So they are mere names, but Democritus states that sensible properties are construction of human experience. The realities which cause them lie beyond these senses. What is this man? Like a blind person in a cave is touching the wall, door, window, and is guess and speculate how is correct. And right now we make electromagnet neurons. We want to see how to make a production of the neuron physiology, and he gets through by this sentence. I repeat, sensible Democritus states that sensible properties are construction of human experiences. The realities which cause then lie beyond the senses. Whereas posteriori has a evidence. End of the quote. Whereas posteriori has a evidence like for autism or deaf and dumb person explaining concept birth and death as a substance matter, which is impossible for them. Whereas by learning phenotic objects such as hospital, infant, mother, father, marriage, cemetery, or cremation, learning birth and death make evidences on what Democritus cited for kids. Today, neurology in MRI has an observation and track of DNA map as a primitive knowledge in 21st century for neurology to perceive that without cerebellum experimental or cerebellum experimental posteriori make a speech in cortex of front lobe for compound substance like birth and death would be impossible. Thus, in pedagogy, first word and vocabulary for kid grade 1 in primary school is not birth but mother, father, or simple substance. On citizenship, Aristotle extends to state, army, justice, school, householding, but as Anaxagoras said, substance has an infinite division. The meaning of this substance as a citizenship has an infinite dimensions as how much experiments a citizen as a man receive and perceive as an inference by his her education. Obviously, for grand judge and philosopher has the other category of virtue, but for politician and army or other social classes would be different by different imperative reflection as a pledge. Today, in 21st century, citizenship as a main substance no longer is virtue, as power of science by technology to provide good life fiscal through fiscal matter, thus by hegemony of science and wealth. Scientists, politicians, even philosophers and jurists are a slave of this apparent that credit of nation as a virtue is a fiscal matter, as such master or visa, and not citizenship in a state. Thus, having several citizenship can be justified by politicians who underpinning of fiscal institutes, while if some despotism countries have a one citizenship not for Western Athenian virtue, but control their historical civilization based on their culture like China. By this prologue continues fourth part of substance and attribute in posteriori. Hyperbolic geometry of DNA in brain individually in cortex front lobe not only by biologists has a more enigmatic constructure, but for neurologists far more modification and variation in anatomy map than cerebellum, as DNA content variation DCV has an increasing prevalence in front lobe of cortex more than cerebellum, where is motor energy to produce speech by posteriori or parietal in cerebrum lobe. Thus, today mixing majority particles as a essence by minority elements as a quality like a taste or color in Anaxagoras extended by main atoms bonding and additive molecules like a H2O plus NaCl as a salty ocean or brine brine lake or additive sugar sucrose C12H22O11 as in biochemistry calls polysaccharide, while in constant circumstances role of quality geometry structure of molecules has a more priority than number as a quantity of molecules as contended in modern phenomenology. Thus, apparent may seem one as a sugar, heroin, cocaine, and salt are, but reality is epistemology of chemistry bonds as we examine by test as a cause and effect, or in chemical laboratory water H2O, H2O, sulfuric acid H2SO4, hydrogen chloride HCl, phosphoric acid H3PO4 are colorless and odorless, but reality is epistemology of elements in configuration of molecules by their binding in atoms. Plato refers to essence diversity of substance as a 21 number of alphabet and their mixture for different vocabularies, while posteriori for conceptual clarity returns to Anaxagoras, Parmenides, and Empedocles for matter and substance in epistemology of elements. Henceforth, in 2023, not halted by their notions as a change is just name, but evolution DNA map in cortex of front lobe means expanding of DNA by practicing mainly on philosophy and mathematics as such geometry. So progressive ontology is constant. Thank you very much. Merci.